right, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, welcome to the CBRM Mayoral Debate 2012. Are you ready to talk politics? My name is Steve Sutherland. I'm the host of Information Morning on CBC Radio in Cape Breton, and next up to his left is Glenn Jessup. From the north side, Will Isaac, also from the north side. From Millville. And from North Sydney, Cecil Clarke. Okay, we're going to start this off tonight with 1 minute opening statement from each of your candidates, 1 minute precisely, beginning with Rankin MacSween. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. This election, I believe, is a moment of choice. It's a choice about deciding whether we're going to follow an old road that we've been on for a long time. And that old road has led to disappointment, and that old road has led to decline. Or we can take a new road. And that new road is about us as a community taking charge of this community. It's about us as a community taking charge of our agenda. And it is a road that can lead us to a place of prosperity. Now,
become a first-class municipal government. My plan, our plan, is a step on this journey. I commit to be your mayor, dedicated to the 4 years ahead. Come and take that step with me into a stronger future. I ask for your support. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to move on to our first question. Mr. Bates, if you wouldn't mind approaching the microphone. And
living very well right now, so I'm not looking for an outside job here. But, you know, in the event, and if I lose, and I don't intend to lose, but I won't be taking a $135,000 a year job and just work 29 hours. What I will be doing is working a full 40 to 50 hours a week and continuously in conversation with all the talent that I can muster at the CBRM Civic Center.
I find it very difficult to believe that given that average, that in another 2 years, he will not be running again.
thank you very much, Mr. MacSween. So this is the point where we open it up to 2.5 minutes of discussion and debate. You might consider that the question has been answered. I feel that perhaps the candidates would like to say more about this. The first opportunity, because of our format, goes to Glenn Jessup. Go ahead.
Thank you.
To go and to offer up for public service, I did that. I didn't wait 40 years complaining about what didn't happen. I went out there and delivered for Cape Breton. That's what public service is about.
Rankin MacSween.
I'm prepared to let my record stand against any of my opponents here. I will let my record stand anytime, any place, any day.
Cecil Clarke and then Will Isaac.
Well, what I know is you got to put your voice out there more than just for community, it's for every. I've always stood before the public and never afraid to account for what you do.
Thank you very much, Maria, for a very interesting and lively question. All right, next up, our next questioner is...
He ensured that we are now $105 million less than we could have been if equalization had been paid to us the way it was supposed to be paid for.
Cecil Clarke, that's your view, I think.
And now for the non-fiction version. The province's equalization program is no different under the NDP government now than it was the previous one. And I'm not going to attack Gordy Goss and Frank Corbin, the Premier. My plan is to work with them and negotiate with them for a charter for this municipality so we can address issues once and for all for long-term benefit of this community. Rankin MacSween.
The fact is that Premier Dexter said a number of years ago that the equalization deal that CBRM was getting was unfair. The fact is, I think Mr. Dexter would be quite open to a conversation. Mr. Clarke was not. He kept walking out of meetings over in North Sydney when he was
A very
confronted on
brief
this
last
issue.
word to Cecil Clarke. We're almost out of time. Very brief last word.
And again, you're rewriting history. The reality is we wanted to negotiate, not litigate, and we got to get back to negotiation.
And we're going to end it there. Thank you for your answers. Thank you very much, Mr. Newell, for your
This is
questions.
very important.
I think this is not about talk. This is about what you've accomplished. You can judge a man by what he's done much better than what he says he's going to do.
Glenn Jessup?
Cecil likes to talk about the word democracy and fairness and getting people. If people at the CBRM that are working, that are paid, do their job, we don't need the consultants and the outside lawyers all the time. We need competent people working at the CBRM,
Very brief.
not consultants and lawyers. Thank
Cecil
you.
Clarke? Very brief.
Well, Mr. MacSween, isn't it great I have a record you can criticize, but it's a record that you don't have serving this community?
And we'll have to end it there.
That must be
Thank you very much for the question, Laura. I'm starting to get the feeling that no matter what question comes up, we're going to have a good conversation.
And attacking the person rather than recognizing that the provincial equalization program is a program and it is not the only program, and that's how we can negotiate forward and build across the provincial and federal lines and work with the private sector. It means having a plan to be able to serve this community.
A response from Rankin, and then we're going to go to Glenn and Will. Rankin?
I think this issue stands alone. Whatever the response we're getting is, it's just noise. This issue stands alone. This is about what we deserve. This is about what we're entitled to. This is about a better deal.
Glenn,
And
and then-
failure to get that.
Glenn Jessup?
There's a saying when you study diplomacy, it's better to improve your argument than to raise your voice. I just think that's fitting here. Anyway, something that nobody wants to talk about is
Well, it's always interesting on which lens Mr. MacSween uses, but when it came time to saying go to the federal government and get us money, not a political carrot, but a commitment for the dredge, I went to make sure that commitment was fulfilled.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sampson, for the question. We're going to move on to Jerry Gillis of
Serving urban and rural areas equally. Growing up in a coal mining family has taught me the need for balance, remaining true to your roots, and a passion to work and achieve more. As mayor, I will work with the council to do just that. My plan as your dedicated mayor over the next 4 years is one that includes you. Come join the discussion and visit cecilclarke.ca, join me on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. Whether you go to a polling station, vote by phone or by computer, your vote is important and every vote counts. Your vote is an investment to create a new climate for stability, jobs, and growth within the CBRM. Again, thanks to our hosts, my fellow candidates, and each of you for listening and participating in our democracy in action. Go on and on.
Thank you very much, Cecil Clarke. Will Feisig, 1 minute for a closing statement.
Yes.
Is a choice whether we're going to keep going and developing an old story, and that old story is about unemployment, and that old story is about poverty, and that old story is about broken promises. Or we can start to build a new story, and that new story is about we as a community taking charge of ourselves and setting our own agenda. And if we do that, that leads us in a very different direction. That means that as a community, we all gather around the table and we decide and we make steps and we move forward on creating a prosperous community for ourselves. It does seem to me, once we start down that road, the possibilities are unlimited. And in good time, what will happen is we will find we are calling our children home. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it for your candidates for mayor, Cecil Clarke, Will Feisig, Glenn Jessup, Rankin MacSween. Thank you all, gentlemen. And don't forget, you have a fifth candidate, Elizabeth Berry. She was ill and wasn't able to make it tonight.